What's up, guys? Blademaster here as usual with the second battle that I played against Hamilkar Barca. And in this one, I've taken a pretty different build from or different faction from what I usually take. I've taken Sparta, and this is a Hellenic clash in BAM Citadel. I've taken Sparta and he's taken Macedon. And I've taken 4 machine gun skirmishers. If you don't know who they are, they're actually the Gorgo skirmishers. And these ladies can throw rocks like no other. I've upgraded them to 1 gold chevron for 3 of them, and triple silver for the other. And they have the three who have a single gold chevron have 10 shots per minute, and the other one has a high 9. So they're very quick in throwing balls at throwing balls at enemy men's heads. Um, I guess they've had a lot of practice during their lifetimes. Um, but for the rest of my army, I've brought 7 Spartan hoplites. And let me just go ahead and fast forward a little bit before I continue with the commentary. So, yeah, now I think this is better. So, 4 Gorgo skirmishers up in front, and behind them I brought 7 Spartan hoplites, very capable units. Whether you put them in phalanx or you charge them straight ahead against any other unit. I've also got a Royal Spartan Gen and a total of 5 Citizen Cav. Now, my opponent, you might remember him from hmm, actually, even I don't really remember him. No, it was the Lusitani versus uh, Gedai replay that I showed you. I believe I would have posted that up earlier. I'm not really sure. In any case, I think I will put a link up here, or maybe somewhere here. Not really sure. Anyways, in this one, he's brought a very smart build to counter Sparta. He's brought a total of 7 thorax swordsmen, a royal peltas gen, 2 hoplites totally, and he's brought 2 peltas and 1 javelin man, I believe. Yeah, 2 peltas and 1 javelin man, and his cavalry is pretty similar to mine. He's brought 2 citizen cav on his left and a sarissa cav, and the same on his right. So basically, what's going to differ is the fact that he's brought 2 Sarissa cav, which aren't very good cav at all, and the fact that he's brought 2 hoplites. I believe those are 4 wasteful units that he didn't need to spend the money on, and we'll see how it affects the outcome of this battle. But for now, my Gorgo skirmishers are, getting ready to fire in slow motion against these javelin men, and I think they'll do pretty well. They get 1 volley off, but my uh, my opponent is advancing pretty rapidly. So over here, what's going on is he's brought his cavalry pretty close to mine, and I started kiting my citizen cav back. But what happened was they started retreating back, so I decided to counter charge them, basically pinning my hopes that he wouldn't be able to micro as well as I did. And that turned out to be true. I catch his citizen cav on a nice clean rear charge, and I also bring one of my Spartan hoplites to support that cav battle. Over here, what's going on is I've he's brought his Royal Peltas Gen up in front, and these guys are going to be pretty scary and very deadly against my Spartan hoplites. So what I do is something a bit more unorthodox. I send one of my citizen cav to attack them first, thereby soaking up their charge. So you can see they charge them, and it's a pretty unexpected charge because they were about to fling their pila at the Spartan hoplites. So I intercept that charge, and then I counter charge with my Spartan hoplites. And here, while he's not looking, I get a flank charge on his Sarissa cav. He's brought one of his Sarissa cav behind my line, but I had a citizen cav stationed behind, and I just used them to countercharge these Sarissa cav. They catch a few of them. Now, uh, this is going pretty decently. I've already managed to kill about 30 of his men, and but now this is going to look pretty bad for me because he's going to charge in with his thorax swords. And what I decide to do is, as you can see, I'm going to put my units in hoplite phalanx. But where it differs is I'm not putting all of them in hoplite phalanx. I've actually put every alternate unit into phalanx, and the other 3 charged them straight into the opposing thorax swords. Now you might wonder that this is a pretty unorthodox, way of deploying my army, and you might question my methodology. But the reason why I did that is exactly for this reason. I've created some gaps, some really small gaps between my lines, and while I have the cavalry superiority, and once I hammer the anvil that's created by my Spartan hoplites and destroy these thorax swords, I'll have very small areas to cover to get rear charges in with my remaining hoplites. So that's the reason why I did that. Whether it works or not, we'll see later. But one really good, one big boost for me in this battle is that I managed to kill his Royal Peltician very quickly. And couple that with the fact that I got some rear charges in, and a lot of his units have started to waver. The cavalry battle on my right flank was mopped up very quickly because I got rear charges and supported with my Spartan hops. Um, but over here, what's going on is I've got the extra cavalry that was freed up on the right, and they're just going to attack these skirmishers. I've got the other cavalry that I managed to free up, just started rear charging, and what I should have done was use my freed up Spartan hoplites to immediately rear charge the remaining thorax swords. But all in all, I think that strategy worked pretty decently. I could have made it work a bit better, but I think it's a useful strategy to keep in mind in the future. These Spartan hoplites are in hoplite phalanx, and they're getting rear charge, but they are holding out very well. Now, the gap was created between my flanks and the last remaining hoplite, and I used the uh, one of my freed up units to rear charge these guys. This entire battle has been all about finding the small gaps and hammer and anviling the hell out of these Macedonian troops. Now, I have a freed up citizen cav here, and what that's going to do is attack these hoplites. And the reason why I said that these guys were a waste of money is because they're going to face up against Spartan hoplites who are just so much stronger against them. And there's no need for him to bring such expensive spears in the first place. Which cavalry does he have to fear? Citizen cav, the most terrible citizen cavalry in the game. But anyways, here I see that he's charging in with his thorax swords, and I put these guys in yet another hoplite phalanx. And with phalanx, you can see they have 98 melee defense and 70 armor, along with 55 health. So they are nearly impenetrable when they're in hoplite phalanx. Um, Now that they have been upgraded mid battle, they've got it up to 100. So it's just crazy stats on these guys, and if you put them in hoplite phalanx, you can expect them to last a really really long time. But that's the reason why I put them. Catch these guys on the charge, brace against them, and then rear charge with some of my remaining hoplites. Now these guys were very few in number, so they routed almost instantly. But I have a ton of hoplites coming in from behind, and all they're going to do is rear charge these thorax swords. Um, in a head-on battle, it's going to actually be pretty close between Spartan hoplites and thorax, because they've had a big nerf in big buff in their stats in the recent patches. Not in patch 14, but I think patch 12 or patch 13. But that just makes them a much more viable faction to take, especially against factions such as Macedon or Athens and stuff like that. They'll definitely beat a lot of them. But yeah, that's the end of this replay, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. It's basically an instructional video on how to use hammer and anvil and phalanx abilities to your advantage. As you can see, my machine gun skirmishers didn't do too great, but they did. One of them did manage to get a bunch of kills. 57 kills for a skirmisher that costs around, well, including the upgrades, I think they would cost around 500, I'd say, maybe even more. But all in all, I think I just brought them because I wanted to bring these new units. All in all, they didn't do great, but maybe I could have used them a bit better. Some of them got recharged pretty early on in the game, but the main the MVPs of this game were definitely my Spartan hops. The ones that were in phalanx, suffered not nearly as many casualties as the ones that charged, but I think that my strategy worked pretty decently at the end of the day. Uh, these guys, the reason they got a bunch of kills was because I was able to free up other men and other cavalry units and managed to rear charge with them. And once they get rear charged, these guys also get a bunch of kills because of the reduction in HP. My opponent Hamilkar Barca did pretty well. He brought a good army. Shouldn't have brought these. So 650, 650. That's 1300 over there. 1300 plus 800, so that's 1900. So what could he have got for 1900? Maybe an Aspis Cav. Definitely two more. He could have got maybe another Royal Peltist and another Thorax Sword. So that fits perfectly. 1200 for the. Oh no, these guys cost 1280. But you get my reasoning. He should have just brought a bigger spam of sword units and maybe some more elites. But yeah, that's the end of this replay, guys, and hope you enjoyed it. And stay tuned for more replays in the future.